information that has.
Can you at least answer, when did you let the family know? When did you let the family know? And can you understand why they are frustrated and why they feel, especially Black folks, feel this is not enough?
We've been talking with the Hambrick family for 3 years. We've had them in our office countless times. I know Ms. Hambrick's feelings. I know her pain and her loss. We've had many deep conversations. And I've talked to her lawyer, Ms. Kimbrough, many, many times. The plea bargain, the defense attorneys reached out this week asking for a plea bargain that would include probation. I did not see that as accountability, and I said absolutely not. Wednesday afternoon, they brought me a plea petition signed by their client that had the statement that he had written that he actually read in court, as well as a sentence of 3 years of incarceration, which I knew would be the first time there was incarceration. I also recognized that it was important that the narrative from Mr. Delke to other police officers was he wasn't just doing his job as a police officer. This was not a justified killing. At that point, me and the trial team got together. We discussed that no result from this case, this trial, was going to be completely satisfactory and achieve every goal that we would like to have out of this case. But we felt like that checked the boxes, and I was not willing to risk not having a felony conviction, not having him off the force, not having him incarcerated, not having him be able to make a guilty plea where he conceded that he did in fact use deadly force that was not reasonably necessary. I think that's important, right? As far as retribution goes, 3 years is not enough, right? But I made the decision that what we were going to try to do with this case was trying to have a conclusion that could truly affect systemic change, right? That's what I wanted. So Wednesday night, made that decision. I then met with the attorney for the family, informed the attorney of the family what was going on, and offered to go and visit with Ms. Hambrick Wednesday night. We had already scheduled a time for Ms. Hambrick to come in at 2 o'clock, and the attorney said, let's leave this at 2 o'clock so that when she comes, she can have her family and talk through this. She came in at 2 o'clock. I met with the family. We sat around the table. I explained my reasoning. She immediately reacted because she's lost her son. And however this case concludes, that's an emotional and traumatic time, right? And so she did react, and she started notifying people not only of what the deal was, but of her displeasure with the deal. But I met with her lawyer on Wednesday night. I met with her yesterday afternoon. Was willing to go and meet with her immediately upon making the decision to accept the latest offer from the defense. And so, we stayed in contact with her for 3 years because we've been fighting for her son and for her for the last 3 years. I certainly understand her wishes that this sentence may have focused more on retribution and a longer sentence. But in a criminal court system, the district attorney has to make those calls, and that's the call that I made.
Would you normally have consulted with her before making that decision? In another case, would you consult with the victim?
My office always consults with victims, and the most important thing is to make sure that we know what the victim's wishes are. How are you hurt? What do you need? We know that what a victim's goals are for every case, and we do our best to make sure that they have a voice in our decision.
But
and so
she's saying her voice wasn't, and we got the timeline, and we appreciate you laying that out.
Right.
You said that the families consulted often, but you laid out that you notified them that the decision was made,
right,
not consulted with them prior to making the decision. Can you speak to why you commonly do that, but didn't do that in this case?
This was consistent with the way that we handle cases, right? We consult with victims regularly. I knew where she stood on this case, right? I knew what her position was. She wanted him convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to prison for the rest of his life, right? I mean, I knew that. And so this was not a time, this is not a case where she did not get to have a voice, because we'd had many conversations with that.
So she was included in the plea deal discussion?
She had been included, Ms. Kimbrough had been included in some plea deal discussions that had been taking place before. And every time that we met with her, we talked about what could happen in this case. With regards to when we were presented with that plea petition, we had to first decide what's in the best interest of the state of Tennessee. And we followed the victims' rights constitutional provision, which is we've been in contact with her for 3 years, and we informed her of what was going to happen, and we made sure that her voice was heard, even if ultimately I made a decision as the district attorney of how to handle the case in a way that was different from what she wanted.
So